What's really going on in Kelowna's condo market? On the surface, sales are surging and activity's picking up, but prices are slipping, listings are piling up, and condos are sitting longer than ever before. It's not the rebound it appears to be, and when you look closer what's actually driving these numbers, the story gets a little more concerning. So let's dig into the September update for the condo market in the Kelowna area. So this is what happened in September. Let's start with sales. The number of sales that we had in September was 102 sales. So way up over last year, almost 25% more than last year. And I'll dig into the sales in a little bit more here in the next slide. The current listings we have, we're still at record highs, and I'll dig into that a little bit more as well. So the current listings, we're sitting at 831 listings. Listings have come down a bit. We were closer to 1,000 at the beginning to middle of summer. So we'll see more listings, I would imagine, come off the market as we lead into the winter, which is normal. But we are up almost 20% still over last year. And this number 831 doesn't include any shadow inventory that we have, and that's inventory that developers have off MLS. So this is just the numbers that are on MLS. So if there's any newer buildings that in town, those numbers typically are not on the MLS. So we're probably closer to 1,000 or more right now. Now, the number of new listings that hit the market, still way up over last year too. We saw 235 new listings hit the market. Now, some of these might be relisted condos. They might have done a price drop and then relisted it to make it look like a new listing online. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, as the numbers sit, it's 235. It might be a little bit less as a brand new listing. Up almost 26% since last year. Benchmark price for condos coming down again for the, I believe, fourth month in a row. We'll get into the pricing here in a minute too. $494,500 for the benchmark price for a condo, down about 2.2% since last year. And the days to sell sitting at 78 days to sell on average right now. It's 35.6% longer than last year. And it's probably a little bit longer than that as well. It's probably closer to 85 days, I would imagine, maybe 90 days. Simply, again, due to those relisted properties. So a condo sits on the market. Let's say it sits on the market for 60 days. Doesn't sell, they do a price reduction, sells 30 days later. Well, that's actually sat on the market for 90 days, but our board would only record from the last listing, which would be 30 days. So you got to kind of take that into account as well. It's tough to do. I'd have to go through all the sales of 102 just to see what the actual days to sell are. But typically it's, higher than the average, probably, again, closer to 90 days. Just keep that in mind if you are selling right now. Now, if you do have a condo right now, it's very important to keep track of the sales numbers going on in your building or in the area to make sure you are competitive with the other condos that are for sale. Because if a buyer sees one that's maybe it's a lower price and presented better than yours is just going to blend in with the rest. So you want yours to stand out in terms of pricing and how well your condo is presented with staging, cleanliness, that sort of thing. That will really stand out to buyers in this market right now. And if you are a buyer in the market right now, the list to sale price ratio is 96.2%. So if you are negotiating with the seller, and sellers keep this in mind as well, you are on average negotiating around 4% off of that last list price. So there is quite a few negotiations going on in the condo market right now. The list to sale ratio is quite a bit lower than the average other property types on the market. Those are closer to 97, 98% right now. And the months of inventory, we're sitting at 8 months of inventory. So if no other condos got listed at the end of September, it would take, in theory, around 8 months to sell off that inventory. Now, again, keep in mind of that shadow inventory as well. It's probably closer to, I would imagine, 10 months to a year of months of inventory if you do include that shadow inventory. because the way that the months of inventory is calculated, you take the current listings, which is obviously more than 831 if you include that shadow inventory, and divide it by the number of sales you had in that month. That'll give you essentially 8 months of inventory if you do the math that way, but it'll be, again, higher with the shadow inventory. Now that tells us we're clearly into a buyer's market, as you can see from my little graph here. And the absorption rate also tells us, we're in a buyer's market and how quickly condos are getting absorbed or sold. So that's calculated. You just flip the numbers from the months of inventory. The absorption rate is 102 divided by 831. So 12.2% of condos that were listed in September actually sold. So you have 1.2 out of 10 condos essentially sold in September. Now, if you have any questions about the Kelowna market, or you're looking to buy or sell, simply shoot me a text message to the numbers on the screen, and I'd be happy to help you out. So let's get on to the two other things I was just talking about there. So the sales and the condo and the listings, everything that's happened over the last 10 years. So this is strictly months of September over the last 10 years. So you can see the years on the bottom here. And then the red line indicates the 10-year average. So where we're sitting within the 10-year average right now. So we had 102 sales in 2025 in September, and that's slightly below the 10-year average. However, 2021 and 2020, in my mind, don't really count. They're just anomalies. There's the market was just insane in those 2 years for the sales in September. And then once 2022 hit, we peaked in 2022, and you'll see that in the price here in a minute. But once the interest rates started going up in, I believe it was April 2022, everything started sliding. So, if you kind of flatten these 2 years out, we're probably at around the 10-year average would be obviously lower. So we're probably at the 10-year average right now. So that's nice to see, since 2023 and 2024 sales have been picking up, and that goes for the whole market as well. Now, the 10-year September condo listings, so the listings that we've seen over the last 10 years, record listings still. Now, this is just for September, obviously. During the summer, we had a lot more listings, again, closer to 1,000, and again, probably more with that shadow inventory. So 2025 in September, again, we had over 830, I think at 831 in my last slide there, 838 I put here for some reason. Just a typo maybe. Anyway, over 830 listings, and that's way up over 2024. Again, what was that? Almost 25% over last year. So, and then even compared to 2023. So the last 3 years, we've seen a ton of inventory. We've seen more condo buildings hit the market, being finished, and then those sales there. But a lot of those were pre-sales, and those people are relisting and trying to get out of those condos. So again, for buyers right now, the condo market the market overall, but the condo market specifically is flooded with listings. So you have more choice than ever. You can negotiate, just like I said in the last slide there. You got you're on 4% off that last list price. So a lot going on for buyers. If you are in the market right now, it is a great time to buy. Now, if we look closer at what's happening with prices and what's happened with prices over the last, say, 5 years. So right now, again, we're sitting at $494,000 for the benchmark price condo. Get you a nice 2-bed, 2-bath right now. And I have one coming up here, my deal of the month. And that puts us back to December 2021 pricing, where we were at $491,000, essentially the same there. We did peak out in March of 2022, just to show you how far the market's come down and how far the market's come down in the last 3 or 4 months as well. Not a ton, but we were over closer to 515,000 just a few months ago. So the market has come down a few percent just over in the last few months. And if we look back from the peak of March 2022, we've come down 11%. And that equates to a $61,000 difference if you were to buy essentially the same condo then as to now. So there's quite a bit of a drop there. And then if you have owned a condo, let's say for the last 5 years, you're up 32%. And then from the peak, or from that point, September of 2020, we were sitting at 374,000 for a condo, and then we saw a 48% increase just in that less than 2 years there, and where we peaked out 556,000, and that was a $181,000 increase. Not normal if you're new to real estate. This whole those last couple of years, 2021, 2022, 2020. Not normal. So that gives you an idea of where condo prices are sitting. I would imagine if we keep seeing condos coming online or, being listed, usually as we head into December or, November, December, January, even February, we see listings come off, especially if they were set to expire. They won't relist till usually the spring. So we'll probably see inventory fall off a bit. Prices might flatten out. We might see it drop. I would imagine, I'm just going to take a guess here. I would imagine in October we'll see a drop in price as well. And then it might be a little bit more flat for the rest of the year. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, this is my deal of the month right now. So this is full disclosure. This is one of my team members' listings. This is in Lake Country, 2611 Stillwater Way, Unit 114, a great 2-bed, 2-bath condo. So we'll just take a look at that right now. So this, again, 2-bed, 2-bath condo, it's listed at $439, so below that benchmark price. A great neighborhood up in the lakes in Lake Country. So we have 2-bed, 2-bath. It's built in 2007, so not super old. And you still have a lot more space than if you were to buy, say, a brand new 2-bed, 2-bath condo. 946 square feet, so closer to 1,000 square feet. And this is it here. So just to give you an idea of the layout, it's on the first floor as well. So if you do have pets, it's easy to take them out. That's why I like the first floor. We have a dog, so it's just easier to take them out. We're on the first floor. So yeah, nice open plan there. You have the kitchen and dining area and living area. 2 bedrooms, one with an ensuite and walk-in closet. And the second bedroom there. And they're separated. The bedrooms are separated. They're on either side of the condo. They're not, back to back. So a great floor plan as well. And then this is your deck here, backing onto some green space. So a quiet area there. And again, if you have pets, it's just easy to take them out when you're on the ground floor. That's the area there. Beautiful view. This is the building here for context. You're actually on the other side of the building there. And yeah, great spot there in the lake. So if you are looking for a condo in Lake Country or anywhere in the Okanagan, I'd be happy to help you out. And if you want to see more of these market updates or more on Kelowna, simply hit that subscribe button there. And if you're looking to see what else is going on in the Kelowna market overall, click on this video next.